officers to go check on Melissa Hortman's home, the representative that lives in our community, just proactively as due diligence to swing by. That police officer and his partner pulled down the street when they arrived at Melissa's house. They noticed that there was a police vehicle in the driveway with the lights, emergency lights on, and what appeared to be a police officer at the door coming out of the house. When our officers confronted him, the individual immediately fired upon the officers, who exchanged gunfire, and the suspect retreated back into the home. This is somebody that clearly had been impersonating a police officer, again, using the trust of this badge and this uniform to manipulate their way into the home.
An absolutely tragic and terrible act of politically motivated violence. Trump has responded, calling it a targeted attack, but I'm not even going to read his response while his birthday parade is going on, because him and his party and all of the nut jobs, regardless of political
Nazis,
honestly, but mostly
fucking
Nazis,
Nazis,
right, are directly responsible for the uptick in violence that we
finally got there.
To a tragedy like this.
We got
now,
the MAGA Nazis fucking impersonating police. You can't trust the police now. That's on purpose.
57 years old, according to police sources.
That's
He's
a look.
Armed, obviously, and the details about
look at that fucking
this
Nazi.
Just get more insane from here. You can see the headline here: edAssass is armed patrol firm boss with war zone claims. Right now, he's the top suspect. He was appointed to just get more an image of him. Political affiliation, honestly, but mostly on the right, are directly responsible for the uptick in violence that we've seen that leads to a tragedy like this. Now, as I said, there is a suspect. I'm going to flash an image of him here. His name is Vance Luther Bolter. He is 57 years.
All right, this is the MAGA Nazi. Look, a white dude. Look, a white fucking Nazi. All right? This is what your assassins look like. They're white guys like me. They're Nazis. Right? They look like me. MAGA Nazis hiding with under the blue, you know, impersonating a police officer. And the Nazis, you know, they're just pulling people off without any cops. You don't know now when a cop comes up to you and knocks on your door on whether it's a MAGA Nazi or an actual cop. You know, my attitude is all fucking cops are MAGA Nazis now, right? Look at him. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. Piece of fucking shit, white supremacist Nazi right there. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a piece of fucking shit. Right? If you call yourself a MAGA, if you call yourself a supporter of Trump, then you're a fucking Nazi. Period. No discussion. Right? Here you go. Here's your fucking Nazi killing politicians. You have to understand, this isn't like some loony. This is a guy who planned it. And that police car, you know what? I don't think it was fake. It wasn't a fake fucking police car. You don't make fake police cars. You can't drive them around. That was a real fucking police car. He probably got it from one of his Nazi fucking police officer buddies. Dude, it's fucking insane. Fucking insane. And it's all you motherfuckers' faults who voted for Trump. All you fucking Nazis who wear the flag. Is this making America great? Is this making America great, you fuckheads? Seriously. You know, you should burn your fucking Nazi flag. Every MAGA flag needs to have spray painted on it, Nazi. Nazi, MAGA Nazi. Unbelievable. All right, fucking waking up to this. But hey, I prophesized it. I said it 6 months ago that the MAGAs were Nazis. I didn't know any people listen now. I think Crystal has one. I think Crystal has a rifle. How about we send all our American haters to El Salvador? Fucking A, dude. Garrett, what do you mean American haters? What do you mean American haters? MAGA is an American hater. MAGA doesn't believe in America. MAGA doesn't believe in in political discourse. MAGA fucking murders, right? Politicians. They are American haters. MAGA hates America. Right, Garrett? Say it. MAGA hates America. MAGA hates fucking America. What's up, Prim? Fucking A, dude. The face of a MAGA terrorist is right here. Look at that. Fucking MAGA terrorist. Yeah. MAGA Nazi. Start sticking up MAGA Nazi stickers fucking everywhere. That's a good idea, JS. MAGA Nazi. Get your MAGA Nazi, right? Just woke up to this shit, dude. Yeah, fucking eat that carrot. Fucking send American haters to El Salvador. He's an American hater. Look at this guy, dude. You know how much this thing is? Anyone have idea? You know how much this thing is, this stand? Anyone have any idea how much this fucking stand is worth? See, I make documentaries for Smithsonian, for Animal Planet, for Nat Geo. I'm kind of famous. I don't really boast about my documentaries and shit, but I have a new one coming out. I don't want people coming in here because I'm a famous documentarian, that I'm the, but you don't know me because I'm behind the scenes. But any documentary that's done in Japan about giant hornets, right? The killer murder hornets, guess what? Who they come to? So I know how much film shit costs. This thing right here, this thing is fucking expensive, dude. This is special, right? Specially made for survey equipment that some fucker left out here. This thing is probably like $1,000 or something crazy. This shit's expensive. That shit's fucking expensive. Try to go find one of those. $350? That's it. I think they're more than that, JS. Maybe. A special survey stand? I think they're more, but you may be right. Yeah. And the whole Israel thing, oh my God. The whole fucking Israel thing. Israel, again, another fascist fucking Nazi regime. The Zionist Nazi regime. It's so funny. You go from being persecuted by the Nazi to becoming a Nazi, right? The Zionist Nazis. Emboldened by a Nazi president. It's insane. Anyway, that's fucking raining on me. Goddamn fucking shit day. What idea? Do I walk in the rain? There you go. F Waffles in the house. Fuck, dude. God, let me walk back. Shit. It's insane. So what else? And then it's they're like, don't, and he's had a whole bunch of no kings. He's been picking up no kings. So they were sending it as a message to protesters, don't protest. But you know what was a message? He was sending a message to his other MAGA Nazis, right? This is what we need to do. Start killing the fucking Democratic politicians. Now, yeah, it's insane. It's exactly, the message. Don't protest our king. And guess what? We're going to send you to the grave. Right? There is no more democracy. Right? There's just assassination by police officer. Assassination, right? Fake. I'm sorry, I got to say, someone impersonating a police officer. There is the tackling of our senators on the ground and arrested. How was this parade? Did anyone watch anything? Did the tanks roll through? How many MAGAs were out there? I can't imagine. How many people had paid for being out there? Yeah, and he's a private security force owner to boot. Yeah, what was this? Yeah, you're right.
Years old, according to police sources. He is armed, obviously, and the details about this whole thing just get more insane from here. You can see the headline here: Assassin is armed patrol firm boss with war zone claims. Right now, he's the top suspect. He was appointed to Minnesota's Governor Workforce Development Board in 2019, according to a document available online. His bio says that he has experience training with private security firms and U.S. military, so he is very dangerous. He was obviously impersonating a cop. But even more disturbing here, the suspect left behind a manifesto and a list of potential next targets that included Governor Walz, according to NBC. The list, whose existence was confirmed by law enforcement earlier today, contained the names of many top Minnesota Democrats, including Walz, Representative Ilana Omar, Senator Tina Smith, and Attorney General Keith Ellison. And the item was recovered from the suspect's car after he fled a shootout with police. They also found no Kings flyers in his car, and the Minnesota police advised people not to go to protest there out of extreme caution. He was last seen wearing black body armor over a blue shirt and blue pants. And if this is the person, they also shot the Hortman's family golden retriever. It's not clear whether that dog was killed, but they shot the dog. He was twice appointed to jobs by Democratic governors, serving on the Workforce Development Council in 2016 under then Governor Mark Dayton, and appointed by Walz in 2019 to serve a 4-year stint on the Workforce Development Board. But despite being a Democratic aide, he last registered to vote in 2004 as a Republican.
The Republican Party of Minnesota issued a statement saying that they condemn this brazen act. But this is what happens. This is what happens when you say that the people are the enemy, that Democrats are demonic, possessed, evil. This is what happens when you can buy police tactical gear on places like Amazon and have it delivered the next morning. This is what happens when red flag laws don't work. This is what the No Kings resistance is about. It's about resisting authoritarianism and the rhetoric that is quite literally getting people killed. This time, it's a guy who's impersonating a police officer. How many times have we been on the street and seen people in ICE get-ups with masks? I don't know who those people are.
Yep. We don't know who those people are. No identification. Just grabbing people off the street. Ridiculous.
You don't know who those people are. They're not wearing badges or name tags. They're kidnapping people off the street. They're throwing them in unmarked vehicles, and we're not finding out where they go or what happens to them after that.
Nope.
The amount of people that we have seen taken off the streets or had their workplace raided, we see them put in the vehicle, then we don't know what happened to them. Federal congresspeople like LaMonica McIver have been indicted on 3 felony accounts for trying to tour a detention center. The mayor of Newark was arrested. Senator Padilla was knocked to his knees and dragged from a DHS briefing that he was invited to and zip-tied. 43 veterans were zip-tied on the Capitol stairs yesterday. We'll let you know when we have more, but if you're angry, I'm angry too. It is so important that we remain peaceful today on No King's Day and that we continue to build community and fight authoritarianism so that we can find our humanity and shit like this doesn't keep happening.
I genuinely don't know what to say about this except fuck Donald Trump, fuck all this fascist violence, and fuck anyone who commits this kind of political action, regardless of what side they're on. I don't even care about that. And thank you to all of you for caring and watching. There's one thing this country could use a hell of a lot more of is some goddamn empathy.
Exactly. Goddamn empathy. And then this is crazy. Look at my thing says it's
Minnesota police say it's a politically motivated shooting. 54 5-year-old state lawmaker Melissa Haltman and her husband were fatally shot multiple times in their home, and a second state lawmaker, Senator John Hoffman, and his wife, wounded in the early hours of Saturday. Investigators say the gunman was posing as a law enforcement officer and escaped after exchanging fire with police who responded at the scene.
These are public servants, leaders who committed their lives to improving the lives of others, and they were targeted in a violent and cowardly way. The suspect exploited the trust of our uniforms that our uniforms are meant to represent.
Authorities say Hoffman and his wife have undergone surgery and are expected to survive. Police are now on the hunt for the 57-year-old suspect who fled the scene on foot after abandoning a vehicle, in which police officers found a manifesto listing other lawmakers and officials. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz says the victims' names were on the list, all of them deliberately targeted.
This was an act of targeted political violence. Peaceful discourse is the foundation of our democracy. We don't settle our differences with violence or at gunpoint.
Meanwhile, Minnesota authorities are urging the public not to attend the No Kings rallies planned around the state.
See, the
to
authorities.
protest President Donald Trump's aggressive approach in major cities.
Yeah.
5 signs of high cortisol. Eye twitch. Bloating.
Of course, the police, part of the fascist state, are going to say, oh, don't go to the No Kings protest. Oh, but go to the fucking Kings protest, right? Or the celebration. God damn it. Here we go fishing. Let's do fishing. Let's try fishing in the rain. What do you say? Fishing in the rain? Fishing in the rain. Let's go fishing in the rain. Yeah, you fucking Nazi. Look, we got a Nazi in here. Oh, yo, boo. Fuck off, Nazi. Go Trump. Fucking dumbass. Dude. All these white supremacist pieces of turds, dude. They just don't get it, dude. They're far gone. The worm's eating their brain. The Nazi brain. We have the Nazi brain. All right? You know, I've got to... I used to got some. Where the hell is my... Oh, shit. Nope. Nope. Can't trust anyone anymore. You know, like all these unmarked, it's gonna make, I tell you what, those people showing up as ICE, you know, I definitely would not, I would not be comfortable being fucking ice anymore. Would you? I would not be comfortable. Get my granddad's lure. I want to get the, let me go find something. What the hell? That's fucked. Oh shit. I put this damn thing on here and it broken. Why would my grandfather keep a broken fucking thing in his tackle box? God damn. Fucking shit. Let's go to fishing spot. There goes fishing spot.
Random bruising.
I'm gonna back the car down on my fishing spot right here. I'm gonna literally take my car, 20 yards to my house, to my fishing spot. Then I'm gonna open up the back of I'm gonna back it down here. Look what I did. Oh, it's a long ass ride to my fishing spot. All of fucking 20 yards. 20 yards to my fishing spot. All right, then we're gonna back down here. Back down here. Follow it down. Follow all the way down here. Okay. All right, at the fishing spot. We're at the undoubted fishing spot. That's where we're gonna be fishing. Now turn this off. All right, let's put in I got power in here. That's great. Put this in here. Get you a little charger. Give you a little charger. All right. So this is where we're gonna be fishing. I'm gonna open up the hatchback in the back so it gives up. I got anti-rain. This is perfect. I grabbed this old beehive that I'm not using. I'm gonna leave it down here as a chair. So I got a chair here. Nice sturdy chair that doubles as a bathroom. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Right there. Let's get you set up. I got my AI fishing buddy.
Power on.
All right. Say look. I got you here. Look. Sit right here. Actually, we don't need to put this on here. This is going to be for you. Give you guys a special stand. We're fishing in Japan. Don't have to worry about no MAGA fucking fascists here. No MAGA fascists in Japan. Motherfuckers. Look at that. Oh my God. We'll be fishing down there. The river goes that way. We're gonna catch ourselves some fish. All right, doesn't matter. It could rain like a son of a bitch. Let's get this in here. Sit down here. I can leave stuff down here. All right, so we got to get my tackle box. You know what? I've got these burlap bags. I got to make something softer for my derriere. Here's my granddad's tackle box. Putting it to good use from Marietta, Ohio. I got a big old bag in case I catch a fish. Let's get my, you know what? I guess I'm getting my overalls on. Guess I should get my overalls on. What do you think? My fishing overalls. Listen. Get some fishing overalls on. I don't know, it's gonna be too hot. Fuck the overalls. Fuck the overalls. But what I do want, let's grab this thing here. Here's some boots. Maybe I should use my boots. So, put this, fold this up, right? Make a comfortable seat for my derriere. Get a comfortable seat. All right, there you go. Look at that. Fold that there, fold that there. Oh yeah. Oh, we're going fishing. Oh yeah. You guys, there you go. Oh yeah, that's good. All right. Ah. Nice, just probably good weather for fishing. What do you think? Crystal?
あれマジかスイッチも当たった
This weekend's combustion was the very predictable result of a liberal city reliant on an immigrant population.
And this
All right, guys, I have some absolutely colossal breaking news here for you. So, it's official. We now have pro-Trump MAGA terrorism
Nazis
happening in this country.
Yeah.
2 Democratic lawmakers and their spouses were shot by a pro-Trump terrorist. I'm going to give you the details of that in just a second, but I also need to give you an update on World War III, which apparently has already started. So, as you all know, Israel launched a massive attack against Iran, taking out top military officials, taking out top political officials, bombing apartment buildings. There were children reportedly who died in these attacks. Well, it turns out Iran did have the capacity to respond. So they did exactly that, and they fired at Tel Aviv, at Israeli military targets. But understand something, Israeli military targets, they purposefully put it in civilian areas in downtown Tel Aviv. And the reason they do that is because it's the same thing when they accuse Hamas and Hezbollah of doing. Oh my God, you guys are using human shields. Israel does that. They did it on purpose. They put their military stuff in the middle of downtown Tel Aviv. So what happened was Iran was able to effectively strike what is the equivalent of the Israeli Pentagon. So there was a number of waves of attack yesterday launched by Iran against Israel. So now the gloves are off. It looks like Iran was able to draw some blood in the fight. Having said that, Israel got a bunch of top military officials as well and political officials of Iran, but Iran to this point has not gotten any, top military officials or top political officials of Israel. In fact, there's reporting that Netanyahu fled to Greece. Now, since then, what we learned is, and this I'm coming to you as soon as I heard this information, this is a huge deal. It's official that Israel is now striking Iranian oil and Iranian natural gas. This is a colossal deal, because the next move from the Iranians could be, we're going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which would cripple global trade. It would be a catastrophe. Oil prices are already skyrocketing. And with the attack on Iranian natural gas, China buys a lot of natural gas from Iran to run their factories. We buy the finished goods from China's factories, right? So that would mean Chinese input costs rise, and then our imports from China become way more expensive. So now we have prices skyrocketing because of Trump's idiotic tariffs.
He's a fucking idiot,
and we also have, now they're going to skyrocket even more because of Israel and Iran going to war. So this is a nightmare scenario. 5-alarm fire. Global economic catastrophe is on the way. And my guess is this is just fucking getting started.
Yep.
We also
just
learned
fucking getting started.
It is official. U.S. troops are directly involved with the war against Iran. They are directly involved. They're already protecting some Israeli assets, some Israeli troops. Trump had repeated and doubled down on this idea that, yes, we are going to get involved on the side of Israel. So it's happening. Mr. fucking bullshit fake no new wars guy, turns out his real position was more war.
More war.
A bunch more wars. So here we are. Everything I warned you about is coming to fruition.
He did everything you want, Kyle. Kyle, come on, Kyle. I was warning about it 6 months ago. I got the evidence.
This is just the beginning, y'all. This is just the beginning. Now, by the way,
what he meant to say is everything Undad dude warned you about is coming true.
From the very beginning, he let Israel do this. He let them do it. So blood is definitely on his hands as well. Having said that, he's also a complete fucking incompetent idiot. And so there's reporting that Trump genuinely seemed to believe, once Israel assassinates top Iranian political officials and military officials and goes after their nuclear sites, once Israel does that, maybe we will be more likely to get a deal. Oh my God, you fucking jackass. He got played like a fiddle by Netanyahu, who lied to him and pretended, oh no, this would be better for you. You definitely get a deal if you allow us to attack the shit out of him now and start a war. Oh my God, Trump is so fucking stupid. Holy shit.
He is stupid.
Incredible. This guy is not fit to be president. He's just not. Okay, so horrible developments there. Now, the other horrible development is, as I said, it's official. We now have pro-Trump MAGA terrorism happening in this country. 2 Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota were shot by a man impersonating a police officer. So, as of right now, as I'm talking to you, Representative Melissa Hortman has officially been killed. I believe her spouse also is dead. They've been murdered. Okay. We also have Senator John Hoffman. He was shot, but as of right now, he's still alive. I don't know if that's going to be the case much longer. It seems like this was a well-planned out event. So the person who did the shooting, dressed as a police officer, wearing a bulletproof vest, had a fucking fake police car also.
Yeah, Kyle doesn't know.
This was absolutely
planned.
Shit. This was planned.
Oh, fuck.
This was
sorry.
detailed. This was meticulous. This was not at all some, crime of passion or somebody snaps or has a mental episode. No, this was very, very detailed in how it went down. Pro-Trump MAGA terrorism, incredibly
Crystal.
in its nature. This was planned for a while. And the question
I don't know. I don't know what happened there.
How deep does the rock go?
I was moving my damn thing.
By the way, also, after he does this terrorism, this assassination of Democratic lawmakers, cops find in his car a bunch of the No Kings protest flyers. So in other words, it is a direct and clear threat. Don't you dare fucking protest Trump today. Don't you dare protest Trump. Maybe we'll do some mass murder if you go and protest Trump.
Oh, shit, man.
That's what's happening, y'all. That's what's happening. So you have a president who's deeply against the First Amendment, who literally said the other day, no protesting. If you protest during my parade, I'm going to meet you with very heavy force. Trump says that now. Somebody is murdering Democratic lawmakers and also threatening protesters, saying, if you protest, I'll fucking murder you. What is happening to this country? We are doing a speed run to fascism.
メイクを諦めている人へ。皮膚科で生まれ、最新の皮膚科学に基づくビューティフルスキン。
Yeah, that's what we're listening to right now.
綺麗になるを諦めない。
Listen to that right now.
Every single bullet point on the fascism checklist we've hit. Jesus Christ. So, by the way, I should also point out, Melissa Hortman, the Minnesota lawmaker who was assassinated, was Speaker of the Minnesota House in 2023 and 2024. And that is exactly when the Democratic Party ran the state government and got a whole bunch of landmark reform victories, guys. So, in other words, here's what the Minnesota Democratic Party did under her
got the whole river to
and
myself.
Tim Walz's leadership. They gave us free school breakfast for kids, free school lunch for kids, legal weed, carbon-free electricity by 2040, tax rebates for the working class up to $1,300 if you make under $150,000 a year, 12 weeks paid family leave, 12 weeks paid sick leave. They banned gay conversion therapy. They did red flag laws for guns, universal background checks for guns, automatic voter registration, free public college, ban on PFAS, which are the forever chemicals. They did a $2.2 billion increase in K-12
I don't know how to
funding.
saw.
They did sectoral bargaining for nursing home workers, looking out for the working class. They ushered in a social democratic utopia in Minnesota. And how were they repaid? By the MAGA thugs and gangsters? By being murdered, by being assassinated.
Are you married? Divorced? Got a girlfriend? Do you want one?
Demonic era in American politics. We're talking about the right going fully
welcome to the
insane,
channel there,
not
honey.
caring about morality,
I'm a monk.
ethics,
I'm an atheist
or
monk.
Or empathy, or altruism.
I'm in my uniform. This is my uniform.
These are pro-Trump terrorists, is what they are. So, by the way, Tim Walz came out and said, out of an abundance of caution, my Department of Public Safety is recommending that people do not attend any political rallies today in Minnesota.
I don't think Walz said that.
So the guy's still out there, which means it's an open threat to anybody who goes to a No Kings protest in Minnesota. And basically, mission accomplished by this guy. Murder Democratic lawmakers, do terrorism, MAGA terrorism, and then try to shut down free speech in this country.
You understand this is terrorism, right? To happen right on the No Kings protest.
Fascist dictator Donald Trump.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. By the way, stop and think about it for a second. Here you have a pro-Trump MAGA terrorist killing Democratic lawmakers, assassinating Democratic lawmakers. Well, guess what? Now, their deaths would end the Democratic majorities in both chambers. One of the people's already dead, right? And then we don't know, the next one may die as well. But the goal here was very clearly shut down all protests of Trump and murder Democratic lawmakers to take away the House majority from Democrats in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, it's insane.
Guys,
fucking insane.
Chew on this for a second. And shout out to Austerity's theft who made this point on Twitter. The Minnesota assassin impersonating a police officer in uniform and body armor was driving a car mocked up to look like a current police cruiser. That's not some spur-of-the-moment reaction to a recent vote this week. That would take considerable planning, time, and resources. There's already an insane amount of far-right conspiracy propaganda trying to baselessly paint this suspect as an undocumented immigrant reacting to a recent vote from only one of the two legislators about a vote 5 days ago on medical coverage, on Medicaid coverage. No. This 100% was planned, was detailed, was meticulous. It was a terrorism and assassination campaign led by MAGA, led by pro-Trump supporters. And now, as I said, that one part on the checklist that we were missing, right? That one part, which was We're going out there in the streets today. We're going out there in the streets today to say, get the fuck out of here, Trump, with your ripping up of due process and your insatiable desire to be a dictator. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here, Nazi. That's what we say to fucking MAGAs in here.
And compromise and civility and decorum is so fucking over. And I highly, highly recommend all of you get on that same page, because they won't fucking spare you either.
My son needs breakfast and lunch, dude. God damn. Can't fucking, is this, what day is it today?
Hey creators, do any of these comments look familiar?
It's Sunday.
Yeah, same. But any of these people actually follow you? Any single one of these comments could be your next superfan or your loyal customer. Instead, they're just grabbing your valuable content and disappearing. Meanwhile, your follower count stays not moving. Here's what changed everything for me. Setting one simple rule. It's super simple.
Follow
You'll
first.
set up your automation that says comment blank word to get the link. They automatically get a message from you, making sure that they're following you. It actually checks, and follow you, they'll get the link, the access to whatever it is that you're offering them. It's so easy to set up. It's literally a template. If you're tired of giving away your best content to ghost followers, do not sleep on ManyChat. Trust me, your content deserves followers who actually stick around.
Your content deserves followers. All right. Fucking Sunday.
But before we wrap it up, let me ask you, Pisco. Elon Musk versus Trump. I'm sure you were having a good grand old time watching the fight as well. What the
Dude,
fuck,
I was
man?
on the plane, and it was this and the Prigozhin march on Moscow. Twitter days of all time.
That was
and the
crazy.
memes,
Just wild.
The memes were
Just
insane.
wild.
Yeah. The best take, I think, or cope. There's like a bunch of different copes. So one of them is either these are just two alphas, and this is what alpha men do, and this is very phallocentric as opposed to gynocentric. So yeah, really super hilarious. What were your guys' takes?
Well, the reason why it's even on my mind today is just how thoroughly Elon has cucked and humiliated himself. The fact that he basically apologized. I regret some of the stuff I said about President Trump.
But
right?
I think they both were embarrassing because Trump was very meek in his Elon accused him of a pedo.
A pedo.
Said, I
wish him
won the
well.
election for you.
I wish him well.
Said you're sucking are going to cause a recession, and oh, by the way, you should be impeached, and JD Vance should replace you. And Trump was the whole time very meek in his. Told JD Vance he should be diplomatic in his appearance on Theo Von. So I don't know.
Well, that's why I'm asking Pisco,
It's
right?
like mutually assured destruction is what it feels like, right?
My read on it is that watching how sort of meek Trump was, other than cutting off the subsidy, but it feels like he thinks, oh, Elon might actually have some of the stuff Epstein has on me.
Mm-hmm.
Like he might have pictures, he might have videos, they might know, he might have some ace up his sleeve. He could also be thinking, damn, he's going to tell everybody about how he stole the election for me.
Well, think about how dumb Trump is technologically. Remember when he said that thing about Barron? Barron's really good with computers. I turned on his computer. I came back and he turned it back on.
And
it was back on. I was like,
how'd you do that? He said, don't worry about it, Dad. So I said, what a genius.
He's looking at Elon. Elon's installed Starlink and his Doge apparatchiks are going through all these databases. So yeah. That is find-outable about him.
That Elon has. But Elon, when you look at how Elon's acted, honestly, on it is massively impulsive drug addict.
Yeah.
That it's like the New York Times report is true. He takes a cocktail of 20 drugs a day, including fucking ecstasy and shrooms and ketamine and Adderall. And on that particular day, he had more uppers than downers, and he was in a bad mood. He felt slighted because Trump kicked out his NASA guy from the top position. He also felt slighted because the EV credits were not in the big, beautiful bill.
Yeah.
And so he had this moment of he's a baby. He gets everything he wants. He fucking berates everybody, right? I want my things. You were in the Epstein files. It's like a child tantrum, right? But then after you do the child tantrum, like at least with Trump, if Trump throws a little child tantrum, he's not going to back down on that shit.
No.
He's just going to double and triple and quadruple down. Elon threw a little tantrum, then 2 days later, tail tucked between his legs. I'm sorry. Sorry if I offended you. Please don't cut off my money.
Yeah. What do you think?
You won't believe what I
It's bad
did.
either way, because I guess the good version of this story for Trump is you put a fucking drug addict, loser fucker who's gonna throw tantrums like this
I fucked up.
in charge of the whole government as a minister without portfolio, like cutting everything from
Fucking
USA
fucked up.
causing thousands of people probably
Well, no
die.
fishing today.
This guy was in charge of like I don't know, the largest arson of our government agencies and government institutions in the history of the country. That's like the good story. And everyone acknowledges now that Doge is a complete and total failure. Even Elon himself, even the Elon segment. There's no argument now
God
that Doge
damn it.
good or did anything good. The most you're hearing is,
You know what I did was, I don't have it underneath this bar here.
it's not right now for the big beautiful bill. And like no one can even defend it on full force. But obviously the other side of this is, well, why the
God
fuck
damn it.
and Pash Patel, they were raising their institution. Why was everyone talking about the imminent release of the Epstein files? Why did Pam Bondi do all this shit? And then now there's all this, oh, they might have deleted some files. Who knows? You know, everyone. So there's a lot of such shit going on here.
Not even who knows.
Yeah.
We've seen the camera. There actually were cameras. And he did kill himself, and everyone should just trust us and move on.
And Mr. Edgy Outsider Joe Rogan being like, really, bro?
Fuck me. Okay, if you haven't figured out, I'm not a fisher, dude. I'm alive. I'm getting some weird shit going on with my stream.
It defies all logic. No one buys this bullshit. Everyone who was trying to sell this story of the Epstein files for the longest time, and now you're dealt with the person closest to a shadow president that we've ever had, calling out Trump specifically. And the two solutions are Trump is completely incompetent and absolutely horrible at his job because he put a drug addict in charge of something, but he has no Epstein connection or there's nothing there. Or maybe there is a there.
God damn it.
Everyone is acting sus as fuck, and basically this is just a giant cover-up, and it's a cover-up of Trump.
But don't you also think Elon sort of knows he's cooked, so he felt like he had to apologize? Because
he's not going to get... Yeah.
His businesses are done, bro. Like, Tesla, the base that bought Teslas, it was like wealthy liberals. And now he's alienated every liberal and leftist in the country.
Yeah.
And so then, what, you thought like MAGA was going to pick up the slack? No, they're buying Chevy Silverados and Ford F-150s, you dipshit. They're not going to buy a Tesla. And then on top of that, he just had 3 Starship planes that exploded.
Right.
Right? Yeah. He lives off $8 million of government subsidies every day, $38 billion over the course of his career. Trump's now saying, maybe I cut that off. So he looked around and he went, I can't fucking make it in the free market. I'm gonna go belly up immediately. And so he felt like I have to apologize. I have to try to get back in his good graces. But if Trump is a real man, he will still cut off those subsidies.
He should, yeah. No, Crystal, can I ask you, did you think that there was any chance that libs were gonna be like, unburn the Teslas, we should open them, we should accept them with open arms? I struggle with like Ro Khanna.
Leaders.
Yeah, the politicians, the wealthy politicians, they're like,
base,
sure.
and I actually think Pisco, I think that's part of what Elon realized is like, I burned, like I did a Nazi salute. These liberals are not taking me back. So, you know, it's a 2-party system, you know, outside of his fantasies, well, we'll start the new moderate party, okay? Moderate led by a guy who does Nazi salutes and backs the AFD in Germany, okay? But, you know, you've got 2 choices. You can be, well, 3. You can be, you know, totally transactional and you're giving money to both sides. Plenty of people do that. You could be all in with the Democrats or you could be all in with the Republicans. And you have burned the bridge so thoroughly with the Democrats that it would be a litmus test in Democratic primaries if you had a candidate that took his money at this point. Like, it would not be acceptable at all. And so I think probably when he came down from whatever bender he was on, he had that realization of like, the only thing I can't, like, I already burned the bridge with the liberals, and now I called this guy a pedophile. Like, I am completely screwed. And oh, by the way, outside of
I think it's funny.
the Chinese
You gotta laugh
elites
at it.
are kicking Tesla's
It's
ass too. Like way more,
it's just part of the fun.
Basically can't buy them.
And now it's like you're blind trying to fucking do your thing here.
And
And my son's like, it's Sunday. He's like,
so he's like screwed
so
up.
this is how you put it on.
Honestly, the
Right? You go 5 times. 1,
he should be in prison.
2,
and every single Democrat who's running for president in 2028
3,
should have to say, I think Elon Musk should be in prison.
right?
Because we can't just
4,
forget about what he actually did.
5 times around the line.
Decide, which are bad enough.
All right, 5 times.
Criminal about that.
And then
It is criminal to
you
illegally
take
cut
it back
pediatric
through the
cancer
loop,
research and Meals on Wheels,
right?
And destroy the Consumer Financial
If
Protection
I can
Bureau,
fucking hit the
and
root,
fire nuclear
Bruce.
safety
How you doing
officials,
today,
including
Bruce?
our top guy, who they had to
Then,
beg to come back,
Bruce,
destroyed
can you be
FEMA,
my
Department of
teacher?
Education,
I'm sure you're a good
83,000
fisherman.
veterans, cut
And
half
then
of Social Security
I'm gonna
offices
feed
in
it
the
up
country,
through the
fire
loops, or try just
250,000
through some of the
public
loops.
workers. All of this illegally, by the way, because he does not have power of the purse. Congress decides something, the president signs it, that's it, it's the law. You can't have the world's richest robber baron go in there and cut whatever he wants to cut. They got rid of food safety inspectors and air traffic controllers. Like,
All right,
it's
so there.
crazy that the conversation is, should we allow him
All
back
right, so
into the
and then pull it nice and
arena
tight.
give us money? It's like, no.
Pull it nice
He
and
needs
tight.
to go to prison, bro.
Yeah.
Do you not understand this?
I struggle with Ro Khanna because on some things I think that Ro Khanna makes a lot of sense.
All right, there it
So
is.
maybe you guys can be my.
So I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna put it back through that.
About Elon Musk, I'm just like, dude, come on.
We feel the same
No,
way.
it's insane. Yeah. So there's a funny meme. There's a funny meme.
Then
it says the Ro Khanna
we go round,
Ro Khanna, and there's like a bunch of question marks. And
round,
to another bunch of question marks, and there's an arrow to
round.
another bunch of question marks. Because yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
He's a
Then
smart
I'm gonna
dude. Like I've talked
loop
to him.
it back
He's a very
around.
smart dude,
Same
very
thing.
capable, like, but then every
Loop
now
it
and
back
then he'll say
into
something like this, and
into
I'm
the
like, why
eye,
the
through the
fuck
hole.
Would Democrats embrace Elon Musk? Why is that
Elon
smart?
said it
Elon is a
too.
particular problem for him because at the beginning of Doge, he was like, "Oh, we should see if we could work." It was
I
one
like
of those.
efficiency.
And was
I like efficiency, don't you?
I argued with him on Breaking Points about this, and actually, I think he reached out to me because he saw my comments about this with the Vanguard guys,
Oh, the Vanguard boys! I saw them roasting him.
and so he saw me talking to them about it, and he was like, "You make some good points, but I come on Breaking Points, so we can talk about it." So he'll probably be on with us next
He's
week.
gonna
and
still take the opposite side of that shit?
Well, I don't know.
Really?
Oh, this
I don't
is
know.
what he's doing if he does not.
I don't know. I think
buddy.
we'll probably have him
Dig
on
that
and see what
hole.
he's got to say about it at this
The
point.
thing is, Crystal,
So-
you're really good at those kinds of interviews. Also, but
That's
before I
nice of
end,
you to say. Thank you.
I think you are. Before, and it reminds me, before I end, do we have a Cenk Uygur update in terms of whether or not they're going to cut military spending? Like, what's going on with TYT? Can we get him to come around?
It was hard watching that, given that I literally knew, as a matter of fact,
All right,
they were going to raise
test.
the military budget. It was
We're
tough
doing a
watching.
stress test. How's that?
Swear
Pretty good?
I'm like, no, there's a chance. Maybe,
But do you think that we can reach out? Because I think that when I watch those Piers Morgan,
Now we put on Granddad's lure.
Morgan has come around on
My grandfather's lure.
when Cenk Uygur
Look
is
at
on
that.
your side,
What is that?
Just like, by the way, when you two are on my side, there are some things I think that we still disagree on. But whenever you guys are on my side, whenever
That's
Cenk's
not a
on my
hook.
side, I cheer. And
That's
I
a
think
little
it's
gimbal
awesome to
thing.
have people who are
And
able
the
to
lure.
stand on business, which for the longest time, Cenk was such a person
then
for
he-
me. But yeah, I'm just wondering if there's
See,
any
it's
hope
got the lower.
to get the old Cenk back to get him to realize that this appeal
All right.
to MAGAism, this appeal to Trumpism is
All
not
right,
worth his time.
we got the line
Yeah,
correct.
the thing is, like, there's always two paths after an election loss, right? One
Okay,
of the paths
that's
is,
open.
hey, fuck you,
That's
and the horse you
closed.
rode in on, I'm still right, and you'll
Right,
realize that
now
eventually.
we gotta
That's one of
extend
paths.
the-
That's the path I took.
Extend the
other path
rod.
is, hey, maybe we should be a little more open-minded and open-hearted and see where these people are coming from, and maybe you get more bees with honey, or however the fucking saying goes, right? And, like, that's the path he went down. And I don't know, something about this last election, to me it seems so obvious that let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya and, like, try to work through it cordially, like, that was so not the way to go, that it was just, like, astonishing that anybody would go down that path. And so it was difficult to watch for that reason.
For me, there are some things that are just out of bounds. Politically, should be out of bounds. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about him mobilizing Marines against American citizens.
Marines against Americans. Oh yeah.
And threatening to do so across the country, and threatening the Insurrection Act, and threatening to arrest Gavin Newsom, and the tariffs are insane. I mean, it's all so outside of.
Here we go.
I mean, the whole project of Doge. Like, I'm gonna hand over the government to the richest man on the planet to do what that to me is not a, let's see where we can overlap.
Right, yeah.
That's a, you have to reject this project out of hand because it's so un-American.
All right, here we go. Let's give you a better view of my, I need
ideals of this country, that you cannot give it any sort of credence, any sort of credit, or play ball at all. Because the whole concept of handing the government over to an unelected oligarch, richest man on the planet, should not be something that's on the table at all.
And the thing is, we already knew as a matter of fact that there was a 0% chance Trump was going to be populist or anti-war. And I say that because the best predictor of future action is past action. And we had his whole first term to look at to see what did he do.
Right.
And what he did was standard far-right Republican bullshit.
Yeah.
Let me cut taxes for the rich. Let me deregulate. Let me do more bombings. Let me do more war.
And we had Project 2025, which was all about, hey, you know how Trump 1.0 was extreme? Trump 2.0 is going to be that on steroids and with zero guardrails. So yeah, it was not a surprise.
And I think that you guys are like impartial enough that if he were to do great things, like we'll definitely call it out when we see it, and we'll definitely give him his kudos where it deserves. So like if he had brokered some amazing peace deal in Gaza, I know
it's gone.
Giving him credit for that. If he had, instituted some really populist left-wing economic policies, I know that you guys would have been giving him credit for that. But we just
That's the last lure I'm
in
losing.
advance. And so yeah, I appreciate you guys saying that.
Yeah, I mean, in the first term, there were examples every now and then where I'd be like, oh shit, okay. When he pardoned Alice
It's
Johnson.
one of those vision days.
The First Step Act. When he actually
God
got rid of TPP.
damn it.
Do a new NAFTA, and there were some of the original TPP provisions in there.
All that work, one cast, fucking lures, God.
I was like, cool, great, that's awesome. But this time...
This line, fuck this line.
Oh shit, I'm going to challenge you now, Kyle. So what is your favorite thing that Trump has done in the second term?
Hey guys, we had a great long conversation with Pisco. Everybody should check it out. The link is below. Crystal Kyle and friends. Sign up and you can watch the whole thing, and you watch it a day early, or you can sign up for free and get the audio version a day later. Definitely check it out.
God, I thought this shit's strong. It looked like it's strong, but
the project that has turned the world of Bitcoin mining upside down. Go Mining is a network of 9 data centers.
What do I do with the other one? Old, Bruce. The line's got to go. I don't know how old it is. Let's just say it's old. It's just fucking. That's the last one. Now, a question. Can I just attach it to this here? Since I could just attach it, right? Or do I need to take it off? Huh? I think I can just attach it, right? I have a new line, actually. I have a really strong line. Because I'm never going to, it's never... Yeah, it just breaks too easy, dude. Breaks too easy. Where's my new line? I think I can just attach it. We'll try attaching it. This line right here, it's a really strong line. This is a really strong line. This shit ain't gonna break, dude. That's what we need. We'll probably break my pole. So what we're gonna do is taking Bruce's advice. Yeah, the expert Bruce. We got the expert Bruce in the channel. Now Bruce is an expert, so he knows what's going on. So his professional advice is we should just leave out the line on there. We're gonna do that, and because we're lazy. He says you're a lazy fisherman, undoubted. So you don't want to go through the whole hassle of taking off the line because you're lazy. You're not in this, you're not a pro fisherman. A pro fisherman would take it off and probably know a way to do it. But you're undoubted. You're lazy. Lazy fisherman. So it's going to attach the line to the existing line. All right. Dude. That knot was good, JS. Don't be talking about my knot, doo-doo. I don't want to hear anything about my knot. All right, so here's the new line. Look at that, that's a thicker line. Oh, this is a good line. All right. Yeah, this is like my son calling me. My son's hungry. He wants me making breakfast. It's Sunday, dude. He's got to figure out his own breakfast. That's my attitude. God damn it. I don't know what to do with this fucking line, dude. Exactly, Crystal. Fucking Sunday. My 18-year-old's useless. God damn it. How do you attach two lines? All right, that way didn't work. Let's try this way. I need to look up. I need to talk to God. Let's talk to God. All right, how do I attach two fishing lines?
To attach two fishing lines, use a double uni knot. It's strong, reliable, and works for lines of similar or different sizes. Grab both lines and overlap them by about 6 inches. Take the end of the first line, loop it back toward the standing line, and wrap it around both lines 5 to 7 times. Pull the tag end to tighten the wraps, forming a uni knot. Repeat the process with the second line on the other side. Pull the standing lines in opposite directions to slide the knots together until they're snug. Trim the tag ends close. If the lines are very different in diameter, consider a blood knot instead. Same idea, but you pass the tag end through the center of the opposing wraps for extra security. Want me to walk you through it step by step with a specific type of line?
Yeah, just walk through it. All right, so I wrap it around.
All right, let's keep it simple and walk through tying that double uni knot to attach your two fishing lines. I'm assuming you're working with standard monofilament or fluorocarbon lines, but if you're using braid or something else, let me know. You said you're wrapping already, so let's pick it up there. Hold the two lines together, overlapping by about 6 inches. Take the end of the first line, the tag end, and loop it back toward the standing line, so you've got a doubled up section. Now, wrap that tag end around both lines 5 to 7 times, keeping the wraps tight and neat. You with me? Once you've got those wraps, pull the tag end to cinch the knot down snug against the main line. That's your first uni knot done. Now, to the same.
All right, 6 inches. Start from the beginning. We got 6 inches. All right. I grab the first, do I make a knot like I put them together and I make a knot to hold them in place, or no? Can I do that, or is that fuck it up? You know, like when you do like, I can fold it over and make a knot. Why can't I do that first?
I hear you. You're wondering why you can't just fold the lines over and tie a simple knot to hold them together first. The thing is, a basic overhand knot, or folding the lines over like that, can weaken the connection and make it prone to slipping or breaking, especially under the tension of a fish pulling. Fishing lines need a strong, secure knot like the double uni to handle the stress without compromising the line's strength. That simple knot might seem quicker, but it'll likely mess things up.
No. I want to start with the simple knot and then we do the uni.
Got it. You want to start with a simple knot to hold the lines together, then do the double uni knot to secure them properly. I'll walk you through it, but I gotta warn you, starting with a simple overhand knot isn't ideal because it can weaken the line and might make the final connection less reliable. Still, if you want to try it that way, here's how we can make it work. First, take your 2 fishing lines and overlap them by about 6 inches, like you mentioned. To hold them in place, tie a loose overhand knot by folding the overlap section into a loop and pulling the ends through together. Just once. Keep it loose, so it's more of a temporary hold. Don't pull it tight. Think of it like a placeholder to keep the lines aligned. Now, let's move to the double uni knot to actually secure the connection. Take the tag end of the first line, the free end sticking out. Loop it back toward the standing line, so you're doubling up along the overlap section. Wrap that tag end around both lines 5 to 7 times, keeping the wraps tight and even. Gently pull the tag end to cinch this first uni knot down snug, but be careful not to tighten the overhand knot you tied earlier. It's just there to keep things steady for now. Next, do the same with the second line. Grab its tag end, loop it back toward its standing line, and wrap it around both lines 5 to 7 times. Pull that tag end to tighten the second uni knot. Now, pull the standing lines, the main parts of both lines, in opposite directions to slide the 2 uni knots together until they're touching or close. The loose overhand knot you started with should either slip out or get absorbed into the uni knots. If it's still there and bulky, you might need to trim any excess carefully. Finally, trim the tag ends close to the knots and test the connection with a steady pull to make sure it holds. If that initial overhand knot causes any weird bunching or feels weak when you test it, I'd suggest skipping it next time and just going straight to the double uni for a cleaner, stronger join. Want to try this again or tweak anything as you go? You're deep in the fishing zone now.
Dude, I have no idea what I'm fucking doing it, but.
All right, no stress. Let's break it down real simple and get those fishing lines tied. Forget the fancy stuff for a sec. We'll do the double uni knot nice and slow. No extra knots to mess you up. Grab your 2 fishing lines and overlap them by about 6 inches, like you said before. Hold them together so they're lined up. Take the end of one line, the tag end, and loop it back toward the main part of that same line, so you've got a little doubled up section. Now, wrap that tag end around both lines 5 times, keeping it tight and neat. Pull that tag end gently to snug up the knot. You good so far?
No.
Now do the... All right, I hear you. You're feeling lost, and that's totally okay. Let's back up and simplify even more. Since you're struggling, let's ditch the double uni for now and try an easier knot, the surgeon's knot. It's quick, strong, and great for joining 2 fishing lines. Overlap your 2 lines by about 6 inches. Pinch them together and treat them like one line. Make a loop by folding the overlap section over itself. Pass the ends, both tag ends together, through that loop twice. Pull all 4 ends, 2 tag ends, 2 standing lines, slowly to tighten the knot. Trim the tag ends close. That's it. Want to try that step by step, or is there something specific tripping you up? I'm right here with you.
Yeah, baby.
All right, you're bringing the vibe. So back to that surgeon's knot. Super easy, I promise. You've got your 2 fishing lines.
So yeah, looking good. Got something. See, I'll never get to that old line anymore. See? Bruce, I appreciate the feedback on that. All right. Oh. Oh. All right. What they do with my thing now? God damn it. My little thing, my little jigger. Lost my little jigger. Even fucking fishing line everywhere. Well, I guess I gotta go. That one. Right one. All right. I'll try this one here. It's kind of cool. It has a little thing that kind of slips it on and slips it off. See that? See that there? What's that called? Try that one. So one. The cool thing about this one, it actually loops, so I can actually do the knot better. That was Tommy. All right. I'm going to get one fucking cast in. We're getting one fucking cast in. I think these are hard to put on with that little damn thing in the way. All right. Fuck, dude. Let's go. Let's go. All right. It's been one heck of a day. Woo, we've been fishing. We have been fishing. We've been fishing that fishing. God damn, we've been fishing. Oh shit, now this shit fucking falling off like a... Fucking lines is coming off here. My God. Does fishing have to be so damn hard? Christ. God, what's going on with this shit, dude? Fuck me. God. Fucking line, dude. Why is this not locking? Why? not locked. Motherfucker. All right. We got it in there. All right. Mission accomplished. How the fuck is this not going down? Perseverance. Now I got to take time to school. Fuck it. You should always take your hook off. But I suck at taking the hook off of this damn thing. You know what? Fuck it. Doing the no. I'm leaving the hook on here just so it to hook me later. Just so the fucker will hook me later. I'm going to leave the hook on here. It doesn't go any further than that. Oh look, that shit's broken back there. Ain't no fish gonna catch on that. I didn't even check the fucking thing. God damn. You gotta change out that back hook. It's supposed to be on a thing there that snags. Why doesn't it? Why is it not catching? One of these is supposed to be, it catches. I think it's broke. There it goes. All right, let's close this up. Let's go. Need my maybe a set. I'll leave this here. shit. Ugh, God damn it. Fucking Sunday. Fucking school day on a Sunday in Japan. So ridiculous. Sunday, school day in Japan. Parents have no fucking time off. Oh, closed reel. Good idea. Yeah, it has the cover on it. Yeah, that's why. You experience why you get the closed reel. God damn, can't get a little fishing done on a Sunday? Gotta drive the damn kids to school? What sort of nonsense is this shit? Don't move to Japan. You got kids, you can't get their own goddamn breakfast. Son, you gotta learn to be self-sufficient. All right, let's go inside. Make lunch. Make lunch, my ass. Oh, Mama would be really upset. God damn. Trying to get a little fishing done. You got some food?
Only this.
Huh?
Only this.
Oh, that's great. That's good for you. That's all you need. No, you got bananas. Here, grab some bananas.
No.
Here, 3 bananas. Here's your bananas. Hike. Bananas?
No.
Oh, wow. You gotta learn to take care of yourself, Tommy. One day, Dad's not gonna be around to make you breakfast. You're 18 years old. You're 18 years old.
Why you say before just I'm leaving?
Huh?
Just before I'm leaving.
No, I didn't say this before. Sunday. I always told you that. Sundays, you fend for yourself day.
But I have school.
Sunday, fend for yourself day.
It's school today.
Well, I know it's school today.
I have school for
I am-
7 days.
Oh my God. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to your teacher about this bullshit. Why you got school on a Sunday? Let me go talk to your teacher about it, okay? I got Japanese now. I can go talk to him. And Tommy's upset. He's got school. I'd be pissed off too, Tommy. Got school on a fucking Sunday. It's more of that college test bullshit. Huh? Huh? The adventures continue. That's normal. Crystal, that's normal in Japan. That's normal. My wife was 30 living with her Her was living at home at 30 when I met her. I moved to Japan 20 years ago. Back when I thought Bush was the worst. But I moved to Japan because of a dream I had. I dreamt that I married a beautiful Japanese woman, had 2 beautiful sons. And guess what? The dream came true. Now I got a obnoxious 18-year-old and opinionated, stubborn 15-year-old. But the dream came true. I got 2 amazing boys. You sure you don't want a banana, Mikey? Tommy? Huh? No? All you MAGA boys, don't get excited. I'm eating a banana. I know what you guys are thinking. You disgusting closet homosexuals. You should just come out. Embrace your gayness. Look, see? Look at him. My little stalker. Look, putting up smoke signals. You know you can just make another account. All right, throwing the banana peel over the cart. In there. 2 points into the river. Turtles will eat it. Turtles love banana skin. Feed the turtles. How you doing, Janice? How about you? How you surviving? Now we got MAGA, we got MAGA assassinating politicians. They've gone full Nazi. There is no more if or debate. Well, hey, what? So here's a little sidekick. When the MAGAs come in, you can squish them. Right? Welcome to the channel. Well, it's just going to get worse, Janice. I'll get your passport. Right? I'll get your passport. Do you have your passport? All right. That's right, Jan. Justice. Please stare at your phone. I am staring at my phone. The phone's in front of me. I'm also staring at the road. See, it looks like I'm staring at you, but I'm actually staring at the road. So we get to, like this guy right here. Like this, hey, Janice, you see that justice for that Nazi down there? Please leave the country too. Go ahead and click on him and just, just flush it down the toilet. Flush that Nazi down the toilet, Janice. Welcome to the channel. Flush that MAGA. There you go. Nazi. Look, it's saying Nazi. MAGA's Nazi. If you say now you're Nazi, look, flush that Nazi. Go ahead, Janice. You just press on him and you just hit hide or, mute for a bunch. Go on, Janice. You can do it. Get your first Nazi MAGA hammer. Look, Janice, I think there you go. There you go. Janice. Woo! How did that feel? Felt good, didn't it? Get out of here, you scum. You Nazi racist. There's another one. There you go. What happened? We don't put up with them Nazis, so they come in here. Sometimes we get a whole flood out, 300-400 Nazis coming in here, and we're just like talking shit to them, tell them they're just, horrible people. I troll them. Who did we delete? Someone undelete him? No.
Why did I stop that?
Top of the. You didn't give me the memo. I'll have to stop at the top one. We'll stop at the top one, Tommy. There's another one. What top one here? You want to go to? That convenience store is inconvenient. It's not convenient to me. It's on the wrong side of the road. I have to cross over. This convenience store up here at your school is very convenient for me. It's on the same side. No, he didn't. MAGA didn't. She didn't. She just made it shorter. See, Crystal wants to play with the. It's like a kitty cat playing with a mouse. Crystal wants to play with the. It's like playing with a mouse. I know. Due to the rain. There you go. This is a more convenient store, Tommy. See, I can get back on. Park right here. Eat your food. We've got Lawson's. There you go. Get the cam view. I'm up over here. There's fun. I gotta go back to gas. All right. Have a good day. Good luck. All right. Let's go get gas. We'll get JR. Look, homosexual. Look at that. The homosexual coming in here. See, that's boring. Such a boring. JR. JR, have you come out of the closet yet, JR? It's a more important question. Have you come out of the closet? The first thing you say when you come into a channel is whether the person has done fellatio. I eat corn the long way all the time. It's the best way to eat corn. You hold it up like this, and you go da 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 da. shit, let me get through this. He's just being crude there, Bruce. Ohio. Il paneね。雨はダメ。ね、今日はトランプ大統領の誕生日。トランプ大統領、今日は誕生日。アンポンタン。トランプは本当にアンポンタン。I don't know why MAGA have to be so damn boring. I thought. I'm going to finish off my breakfast with the yogurt. Arigato. Cushion. What was that? Cushion. Okay. Let's go back fishing. Let's get back to the fishing. Okay. Hey, I thought that. All right. Back to the fishing, guys. Yeah. Yeah. I changed my IP address. Yeah, MAGA Nazis. Yeah, I don't hold back. MAGA Nazi. Nazi MAGA. So the similarities between, and it's very important, Nazis 1933. MAGA are Nazis 1933. You know, anyone who's okay with deporting, a 4-year-old girl with cancer away from her doctor, her care, because her mother doesn't have to be American, but the child is American. You'd think, oh, it's an American child. Yeah, she has her mother is an American. Okay, let her take care of her cancer. But no, not a heartless MAGA. They're like, no, deport the mother. And can you imagine, Janice? I'm sure you can. I mean, I've got kids. You know what happens when you try to separate a child from the mother? How it's screaming and yelling, mama, mama, right? Mama, right? Screaming. And they're like, oh, we're going to take her. And these heartless motherfuckers are like, you can see them. You can see they're like, oh, you're never going to see your daughter again. You're going to take her away. We're going to put her in care, or you can take her with you. What are your choices? You never see her again, or you get to, of course the mother. Well, the daughter, she's going to comfort the daughter. who has fucking cancer. What do you think the stress of the situation would be on the child, right? The stress on the body, being separated from her mother. It's just heartless. This is like putting a child in a gas chamber. This is literally putting a fucking child in the gas chamber, and you're okay with it. This is the piece of shit the fucking MAGA are. They are heartless pieces of shit. The same type of individuals that think a girl who is violently raped or incest should be forced to carry her brother and child, or sister and child, right? If it's incest, right? It's not okay to get rid of a placebo. Not a placebo. That's not it. It's a one-cell animal, whatever that, one-cell creature. A fetus that's not viable. Oh no, you got to carry that. So every day you have to look upon the face of a crime that was committed on you. I was going to be an abortion, and I'm perfectly okay as someone who my mother wanted to abort, right? Right, I was 100% fine with that. 100% fine. I'm a conscious human right now, saying right now, as a fetus that was going to be aborted, right? My father prevented it. My father said, no, you're not going to abort the child. But as the child, that would have been, I'm completely fine with my mother choosing to abort me because she didn't want me. I'm 100% fine with that. So I think I can speak for all aborted babies out there that it is okay. Women has the right to choose. It's their body, it's their choice. And the father should have a say in the matter, too. But ultimately the mother. It's her choice. She carries the baby. I know. 14 states, Janice, 14 states, no exception abortion. For incest, for rape, or anything. I'm a fine fetus. But I'm just saying, yeah. I mean, I've had an adventure. I've had a good life. But, but I do not condemn my mother for wanting to do that. She didn't want, but you have to understand, my mother had 14 miscarriages, 14 children. Like 11 were miscarriages, right? She didn't want to go through it. So, but my father was like, no, you're going to try. This is not bad, I'm here with you. And talked her out of it, So I'm here because of my dad. But I hold no ill will against my mother. God rest her soul. Do rest her soul. All right, we're going to get back on the fishing. But I think it's wrong to force a child or girl, wife or whatever, be forced, a legislator force that onto. And then here's the deal too. It's like, yeah, they force you to have the child, but there's no child services. There's no welfare. There's absolutely nothing, so the child has a miserable life in poverty. The mother has, there's no support for the mother. It's ridiculous. I mean, the MAGA are just atrocious individuals, are truly atrocious. Oh, I'm sure he's paid for a lot of abortions. I am sure. There's my record's hiding in here. All right, let's get back to fishing. God damn it. We're going to catch a fucking fish today. Sorry, Janice. We're going to catch a fish. I got new line on. I got my son at school. We're going to go back to my little fishing spot. We're going to break it out. Bruce, we're catching a fish. Big old sea bass. You got to change the hook off. The hook was broken. Yes. Was there lots of people? Was there lots of people out there watching? Was there a lot of MAGA out there? And the two Democrats, fucking assassinated. It wasn't murdered. That's MAGA assassination squad. He's sending a message. Kill the Democrats. That's what this guy, dude. And he was even appointed. He was Republican, and he was actually supported Democrat. He was appointed to. This guy was a CEO, right? He was a CEO of a fucking BlackRock, like a small BlackRock contractor, you know. And luckily, he thought he would get in there and get out. I mean, he's in the neighborhood, dude. He's escaped. He's on foot. He's definitely got help from the fucking inside police. Oh, we can't find him. CEO of a company, was appointed to Democratic committees, formerly voted Republican, right? Switched over, inside job. You know, this is serious. This isn't like this guy. It was well planned, well executed. He knew what he was doing. He thought he would get away. It was lucky those two cops were like, "Hey, let's go check on these guys," and they caught him on the way out. They saw a police car in the thing. They pulled in. He shot at the police. They shot back. He fled on foot. He's still at large. All right, let's back up. God damn. Next, my wife's going to be calling me. Next, Mikey's going to be calling me. Janice, it's my life. Life of a dad. It's a Sunday. Let's get some fishing. I'm a shit fisherman, too. Look, my house is right there. My house is 20 meters away. Oh. I got a beautiful river right next to my house. What the hell is this there? Look at this sold. Oh my God, Janice. Look at this guy. It's great. It's great to be homosexual. Why do you have to hide? Why do you have to write it homosexuals? Homosexual. Oh, look at this guy. He's saying homosexuals. Look, he's spelling. He's embracing his gay. He's a closet homosexual coming out and embracing his homosexuality. You can just say homosexual. Homosexual, is that a banned word? Is homosexual a banned word on YouTube? What's he saying? He's celebrating his homosexuality. Homosexual. It's like a gay parade, but he's like, that was weird. That's some weird shit right there. That was some weird shit. That was weird. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get what I don't get his what he's trying to do. Look, see? Open up my little hatchback. So I have a roof. Look, see? I sit under here. Let's get some music going. All right. Celebration. No kings. Fucking this ain't Trump celebration. This is fuck Trump celebration. No kings, baby. Free speech. No kings. Dude, they're not celebrating fucking Trump. AOC. Woo! This ain't no birthday party for fucking Trump. There you go. Live.
Yo! Whoa! Yo! What up? What up? New York! New York!
New York, no
What's going on,
kings.
baby? What's up? Hey! Hey! Yeah, make some noise, make some noise. Make some noise. Yo, listen. Make some noise if you... All right, bet. So if you don't know who I am, I'm the Kid Mero. You know what I'm saying? AKA the Human Direct Son, because I keep it wavy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Pete.
And I'm here for the same reason that y'all are here. You know what I'm saying? Why are we here?
No kings.
That's right. Because that's right. Like he said, remember the name. M-A-M-T-A-N-I. So look. So check it out. Boom, right? I've been following this campaign from the beginning. And I'm very proud to be here. You know why? Because when this shit started, it was like, yo, can we do this?
What is this?
And right now it's week.
Live rally for city. Look at this fascist fucking shit, dude. Fascism. This is what fascism looks like. Why? Why do we need this? Fucking fascist fucking shit, dude. Look at that black guy. That black guy's like, God damn, I gotta be fucking in here. Look at fucking. I don't think Trump's impressed. Look at all the police lined up on the sides to stop people from running out. This gotta be the sorriest fucking military parade ever. You look at the ones in China and North Korea, look at this one. Where is the guy stopping the tank? Fucking joke. Fucking joke, dude.
The Supreme Court is running on nothing but Republican grievances, fringe theories, and bad vibes. Law professor and strict scrutiny host Leah Lippman is here to explain. Welcome back to Defending Democracy. I'm Mark Elias. Let's get started.
I like Mark Elias.
Leah Lippman, welcome to Defending Democracy.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, I've got so many things I want to talk to you about. But first, we're going to start with your book. But I promise I got to ask you all kinds of questions about podcasting and your writings and what the hell's going on in this country. But you wrote a terrific book about the Supreme Court. And for people who don't know, Leah was actually a Supreme Court clerk, which is very rarefied air. The rarefied of rarefied air are the people who clerk for the justices on the Supreme Court. Clerk for Justice Kennedy, who was for many years the swing vote on the court. It's kind of hard these days to even tell people who would be the equivalent of a Justice Kennedy. And so I give that background because I'm just curious, like, what made you decide to write a book about the Supreme Court? Since my experience with former clerks is they never like to say anything bad about the Supreme Court.
Yeah, so I definitely took the path less traveled there. And so 2 reasons. One is, in some ways, I think this book is really coming out of my experience clerking at the Supreme Court. I was there when the court heard the big constitutional challenge to the Affordable Care Act and almost struck down that entire law based on this idea that one day the government would make you buy and maybe even eat broccoli. And so watching the justices come within one vote of almost blowing up so many people's healthcare and life-saving health insurance based on ignoring past precedent and just misassessing the risks was very eye-opening for me. And I think it really influenced how I think about the court, teach law, and whatnot. And then second is seeing people all of a sudden pay attention to the court when they overruled Roe versus Wade, but still in my mind, not really appreciate the court's long game and where these decisions are coming from and where the justices might go next.
Okay, so that's where I wanted to ask you is, people always ask me about, do I worry about the Supreme Court? And my answer usually goes something like this. Of course, I'm worried about the Supreme Court. I have to always worry about the Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court only hears between 60 and 80 cases a year, and there are hundreds of thousands of cases, probably millions of cases decided at the district court level, hundreds of thousands at least at the Court of Appeals, hundreds of thousands that seek cert, reviewed by the Supreme Court, and they don't take that many cases. So when I hear people like you talk about the long game, how does that play out exactly? Like, what is the long game, and how does it play out where they're only hearing like a fraction of the total number of cases? You probably know the statistics, like a fraction of the number of cases that they could.
Yeah, so when I am talking about the long game, I am talking about the justice's ability to basically sit and hold tight and bide their time until the ideal case and the ideal time arrives at their doorstep, and they can decide that now is the moment they either want to change the law dramatically or begin walking down that path. And I think people underestimate the extent to which the court curates its own docket and decides whether to go fast or slow, and really cultivates an image for itself, and how that can cause people, I think, to lose sight of the justice's power and their willingness to do something other than what they did yesterday, a week from now, or a year from now. And so that's kind of what I am talking about when I am talking about the long game. And how I think that relates to the small number of cases the court hears is they can influence what the lower court is doing just by basically one case. So, for example, in the aftermath of Allen versus Milligan, that was, I think, like an important reaffirmation of the Voting Rights Act. for listeners, this is a case where the court concluded Alabama had violated the Voting Rights Act by not drawing a second majority black district. But what you know, a few years later, the court has another Voting Rights Act case, Louisiana versus Connecticut, in which it could cut back significantly on what it had preserved in the Voting Rights Act. Is they can what the lower court and is the lower court just by taking and giving speed applications when they think it's convenient and when they think it's the best time for them to make a move that they've been negotiating for a long time.
You can get a better angle here. That's a better angle, isn't it? Kind of casting in the wind, which sucks. Casting in the wind sucks.
Yeah, like on the
Yeah, so I think that there is some individualization and then some coordination. So I think that Justice Thomas, Justice Alito, Justice Gorsuch, Justice Howard, in which they are particularly
That's not good.
Chief Justice for but on the forward to the fact that and on those issues, the justices are really on the same page and moving as a body. So in that category, I would say things like action, executive and Republican appointees. I think they all know who they are.
They got a bite.
Honestly, I think that's partially what happened when Donald Trump went about firing a bunch of full-time commissioners. It was real time. And how Trump's advisors thought because they anticipated from the audience court and knew that based on what the justices had been saying, doing. So
Whew. What's wrong with this tip here? Why is it?
So pretty much most conservative justices that are forces. The chief has actually written a lot about showing executive so it seems to me that Donald Trump is probably better than expected. Really, where battle is not full of executive branch, rather. And when it comes to but I don't know where Congress fits into that. Of course, Congress, you know, which seems to be a question in document case Congress failing the executive branch. How does it look like the separation of powers?
That's definitely possible. Obviously, the part of me thinks that it could be for that over a period of time. People visit federal time, they're acting things out, but also on some level making it up as they go. Like this mythical federal section has not been totally hammered out. There's a long few articles that gestures in this direction, but even it acknowledges that they have to restructure the Federal Reserve Board in order to make it constitutional. And I guess they don't really want to do that, so they're controlling it finally. So it's sort of have a big which they're also willing to adapt as things go. It's as good as any.
All right, so I gotta ask. The first two, I will go back. I don't know if you know, on possibly talk about how do you approach here? You know, I think I joked with Professor Harmon. I don't know how you teach federal jurisdiction. No longer. I don't know.
Learn what those not going are, because that's going to change, you know, at the end of the year, fall, practice and whatnot. And so I would say law as kind of an introduction to how constitutional change and government change works, if our government has the way it is, understanding how society and politics relate to one another and the various agencies that kind of spun out the way they did in order to get us to where we are. I kind of try not to inundate them with too much reading material, but background they can see the political context of social movement in
And you know, I have to say, you know, I witnessed this phenomenon. But more is to do something like yeah, there it is. We are enjoying I think said that like, and your writing is so engaging. It seems to runs afoul of what I always understood to be the law professor creed. Was that a conscious decision to write a book for everyone as opposed to something for law professors?
I'm going to take that as a compliment in describing it as not in the academic vein, because yes, that is the kind of book that I wanted to write. I approached trade presses, presses that write for a general public. That is the audience that I wanted to reach. I think that it is so important for people to understand the Supreme Court because too often people just get these bite-sized pieces of information when the court issues a major decision in an argued case, and that is the extent of their engagement with the court. I wanted people who felt like they had an intuition that something isn't quite right about the Supreme Court to be able to get a ton of information about the court, but in a fun, accessible, digestible way that was not totally bleak, and hence all of the pop culture references and snark. But yes, I was not aspiring to write this book for other academics or primarily for people who are immersed in the law in courts. It was just for smart people who wanted to understand better the relationship between the court, politics, and society. And that was the group of people that I most wanted to reach.
So I understand why the justices, the conservative justices, might be willing to embrace fringe theories. I guess like everybody's got vibes, so like they can affect my question to you though is the first part of the subject, which is conservative grievance. And these are folks who've got a pretty good gig. I mean, everywhere they go, people stand up. They laugh at their jokes. They work hard, but it's not exactly digging ditches at the side of the road in the middle of the winter, right? I mean, like, why is there a sort of a grievance, an attraction to a grievance mentality?
Yeah, I think it is a combination of different factors. One is I do think it is partially a rhetorical and political strategy. It is easier to whip people into a frenzy, get them out to vote, get them to do the work necessary to build a successful social and political movement if they think they are under attack and if they think they are aggrieved. And if they identify a common punching bag. So I think it is in part a strategy. I also, however, think it is a reflection of a very deep-seated anxiety that as the country has become more diverse, that individuals who are white, Christian, conservative feel some anxiety about the increasingly pluralistic, diverse society that doesn't entirely look like them, that doesn't always share their views, and that is changing in their eyes. So I think it is a strategy that leads into a clearing field that some segments of the population have. I think some people it is both strategy and that they legitimately or sincerely have. I don't think that's probably where it comes from. But it's just so ridiculous. I mean, the idea that there's about racial discrimination and voting that can kind of form a public statement to the victim, like just stop and call everyone. The idea that they can into as if they are so brutal and so targeted by this grossly unfair law that just prevents them from spending obscene amounts of money donor. I mean, all of that is just odd to put it on the page. But I do think that some people actually have those views, whether that's because they have been so ensconced in this closed universe media ecosystem that fed, that's what they think, I don't know, but it's partially strategy, and it is something to people.
Hey, what? Lures is so cool. This one like floats on top. And it actually swims like a fucking fish.
I was after 1993, and you know, obviously, was always liberal. And was not part of the Federalist Society, but the Federalist Society, existed. It was actually quite, in some ways, in its ideological or intellectual freedom, in that they espoused what they said were neutral principles that would be the same neutral principles no matter who were the winners of elections. That originalism, textualism, were just neutral principles, and they would be the way they are. And I think that there are two cases that are kind of like radicalized. The first, which I think you were referencing, which is Shelby County. I actually wrote an amicus brief. Go find it. Stars on the Supreme Court's website on behalf of then majority Harvey Reid. He like I were on our own on this. Nobody else joined our view. The view that he had, which I have, is that I'm pretty sure if you ask the framers of the amendment what they thought of the equal dignity of the southern states, they'd say we don't give a shit. Like the notion that something had to be proportionate or congruent, like my basic, the brief we wrote was basically like the section 5 says, the amendment says that Congress has the authority to implement legislation, and that's essentially plenary authority, and the court doesn't get to make up a bunch of other doctrines to undo discrimination and the 14th. And so that radicalized me. The more recent one, though, and then I'll let you respond to both, is the immunity discussion. Now, I have represented lots of members of Congress where there is a actual provision for immunity called the speech and debate clause, which the court has carved into 1,000 little pieces. It means this not. There is no textual basis for presidential. There is no originalist basis for that. Get in the way of a good time, Mark. What do you make of those two objections that I want?
No, I mean, I'm on board with both of them. So Shelby County was also radicalizing for me. It was actually the case I wrote my job talk paper about, when I was trying to become an academic, about the equal sovereignty principle in particular. So that has also been a long-running, long-festering concern / disagreement I have had that made its way into a book, intended for a general audience, even though it kind of came from one review article. That decision is just unreal, relying on this equal sovereignty principle. And it's not just, although that's definitely very bad, that people who drafted and ratified the Reconstruction Amendments wouldn't believe in the equal dignity or equal sovereignty of the former Confederacy. Is that in order to defend that principle, John Roberts had to insert a misleading ellipsis into a prior opinion in order to make it mean the literally exact opposite thing that it said, which is this thing of equal sovereignty was only a rule that applied when Congress was admitting states to the Union. It didn't apply to laws Congress enacted after a state was already in the Union and represented in Congress. But again, what constitutional text or a little Supreme Court doctrine get in the way of a good time. The immunity opinion was also, shocking but not surprising. I think given that the court had slow walked it, and given the extent to which the Democratic appointees, I think, pretty pointedly warned us that they were in the bag for Donald Trump, in the Trump versus Anderson case about whether states could disqualify him under the provision of the 14th Amendment that prohibited those who engaged in insurrection or rebellion from holding office. I mean, they literally wrote in their concurrence that the court was trying to insulate themselves and petitioner, i.e. Donald Trump, from future consequences. So I think the fact that they declined Jackson's, decision or request to take that up in a timely fashion, they slow walked it. Those were all indications that they weren't going to go big, and still the opinion.
Oh, we got a fish.
The state supports prior cases. They inverted our constitutional scheme, which was founded on the idea that we are laws under the law, federal law, and somehow made it.
Maybe not.
It's above the law. It's all shocking. And they seem to have no problem.
Ah, shit. Got off. Yeah, it's out of casa.
In violation of federal law, doubling down on this unitary executive theory that's also very in the unity opinion. So those should be radicalizing. And the challenge in running about the Supreme Court is not to cut off the manuscript at some point. So, I started a manuscript at the end of last summer 2024. So I was able to write about the immunity of some, but not so much about the Trump effects that I think have materialized in the second Trump administration.
Let's sit here.
I'll be right back with more of my conversation with Leah Lippman in a moment. But Donald Trump and the Republican Party menace to democracy. They want to undermine free and fair elections. They want to take away our civil rights and our civil liberties. And they want us to be too afraid to stand up and to fight back. Look, I founded Democracy to cover and report on the fight for democracy, which is to tell you what you can do to help. But right now, Democracy needs your support to continue to grow its team and make sure it has the resources necessary to provide you the information and analysis you have come to expect. So, become a member now to power its work forward and to gain access to exclusive content. It's just $10 a month. Please click like you are a law student, and maybe there's some answer in there. But this is a generation of law students who really only know what Trump era.
Yeah.
And that has to have changed what it means to be a law student and to teach law students.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, what how you see this affecting the next generation of lawyers.
Yeah, I hesitate to make wide generalizations. I do, however, think it has to be incredibly formative and instructive to have grown up and only known a political world that has been deeply influenced by Donald Trump. I mean, I remember, really, I think the first core political message is the Supreme Court's decision in Bush versus Gore, and waiting to see what happens in Florida. And I think that has been very influential on how I have thought about government and the court. So I think that some people come to law school thinking lawyers are there to fight, and we're going to lose a lot of the time, but it's still worth fighting and trying to slow things down. I think some people come and watch to change things and engage in more systematic, systemic change. I think there are still some people who come to law school and think I'm not going to have to concern myself with this. And I think the initial period of the Trump administration has been just abusing them of that idea, as they have destabilized public service, as they have attacked law firms, you name it. There's just no escaping kind of our politics right now for people who are engaged in the practice of law. So, and of course, there are some people who are excited about, what is happening and view it as an opportunity. So, I don't exactly know what this generation of lawyers is going to do, when they have further into practice. But I have no doubt that, what they experienced and grew up with.
And I'm curious, now that coach students' careers and write letters of recommendations and clerkships, and one of the things that Professor Kennedy said to me, which shocked me, was that the practice, which was very common, since you clerked for Justice Kennedy, apparently was still going then. Judges and justices hiring law firms with a little bit of higher. Not every law clerk for a liberal justice or judge would be a liberal. Not every clerk for a conservative judge or justice would be a conservative. Law professors would be solicited for recommendations from conservative students or liberal, vice versa. He painted something, at least the Harvard Law School attended in his terms, a little more bleak. letting this become much more ideological. And I wonder if that doesn't also negatively impact the judiciary, where it's just like everything is like separated from the get-go.
Oh, like that is definitely my experience. I mean, at the Supreme Court, there's just no non-ideological hiring, and I think the ideological
So
hiring.
they don't hire. Didn't they use some of them used to hire one clerk of the
Yeah,
opposite?
some of them would famously
Wasn't that a thing?
hire a counter clerk. It's just not a thing
Right.
anymore. It's absolutely not a thing. And that has also become more prevalent at the Court of Appeals. You know, there are certainly still some Court of Appeals judges who are just not interested in ideology, you know, or who are from looking to hire someone, you know, with a different perspective than they have. But there are today many more who just want ideological allies than there used to be, you know, when I was applying for clerkships. And yeah, this is going to have horribly negative effects on the judiciary and I think the legal profession, because now people are being credentialed based on their ideological leanings and political views. And so the class of people who have been able to, or who are going to be able to have this experience of seeing the Supreme Court up close or seeing the courts of appeals from behind the scenes are going to have that, right, in many cases, just because they have the right political views. And that is not a great system when we are thinking about how to train the next generation of people who are supposed to be enforcing the rule of law.
And you also spent a small amount of time at a big law firm, Wilmer Hale, one of the firms that fought against Donald Trump. And you are now at a university, which I don't know if your particular university has been targeted by Donald Trump. But you have seen the administration target large institutions, organizations. You're a very prominent media figure yourself with one of the award-winning podcasts. You are obviously at one of the
Fuck.
That's actually been targeted. I'm curious, what do you think? I have like I've run out of adjectives like that called the spineless, gutless, without dignity. I don't know how to like wake up in the morning to be ashamed of themselves.
God damn it! What's going on here?
But I'm curious, like I said, student university, I'm sure that's,
Yeah, I think that is partially how I functioned. I think after the second administration, I think a lot of narrative talking how with looking superficially democratic when we operating like a democracy. And that oftentimes involves effective takeovers, educational institutions, right, and destroying the woman farm, or destroying and so which I understand the attack on law firms, media, their own attack on like independent sources of information and like independent sources of authority, possible mechanisms of checking and abusive executive branch. So that is how I perceive it. Also means there is considerable urgency in resisting them. You know,
All right, last one. I'm done with this damn fishing. Last one. Not biting.
not have either like the luxury or the misfortune.
I'm not good at lure fishing.
Or large all by have what so I am going on.
All right.
You know,
That's it.
I think there was always going to be some
Done.
concern about what
Done with his damn fishing, Crystal.
But I just think that when it comes to particularly
Done with his
Well,
damn
can we
fishing.
fix that? The weak spot problem is that does it have to be there? Where if you shoot once and pull the whole thing up, or can we cover that somehow? They really, really needed some engineering droid to take a second look at it.
But then again, that when you're under time constraint, you have to cut corners, and they just said, it's shipping, it's Death Star V1. If there are some jobs left, if a good chunk of today's jobs go away, then what do you do if you have 20, 30, 40% unemployment rate? That requires an entirely new economic paradigm. The golden age of Athens, about 10% of the citizens were, landowning, wealthy men. And what did they do? They went to the Eleusinian mysteries to trip balls, and then they debated politics. The universe seems to, when you look at delayed choice and retrocausality and those sorts of things, non-locality, you look at all those experiments, and it seems like the universe doesn't make a calculation until it absolutely needs to, which is what we do as the opinions. The opinions are going to be really interesting once you kind of got out there and done all that. So yeah, I have to be on my best behavior. No, tell them that. We'll see. Really good. Just tell them what you think.
Stop it.
Well, let me just sure. Yeah, and everybody knows how Riverside works. So you wait for it to upload at the end. So we're good on that. Okay, so David, can you start by giving us your name, rank, position inside of Starfleet? David Shapiro. I am captain, not of a executive frontier cruiser. I'm more of a captain of a scientific cruiser. So there we go. All right, where do you hope to be in charge of the entire Federation at some point? Or are you happy in your position? Admirals are all corrupt. No, okay. That's awesome. All right, perfect intro.
Okay, so Dave, thanks so much for joining us for this kind of emergency session, because I know a lot of people are very kind of scared right now. Dario Amde was on CNN with Commissioner Cooper, and right next to is an article saying, oh, what Dario has been saying is just hype. It's AI hype. And I'm like, how can people not be confused about what's about to happen? So first question, is it just AI hype, or should people start thinking about where it's going?
Yeah, I mean, to not really add much clarity, it's a little bit of both. There's always inflated expectations when there's a new technology, and Silicon Valley is the worst. Namely because it's the technologists themselves are always saying like, oh, that's going to solve literally everything. And if you ask a developer like what is their definition of everything, it's it's a very small subset of reality. And so that from a certain point of view, right, it is going to change a lot of things. At the same time, to just kind of answer the question directly, I've been doing a ton of research for my books on post-labor economics, and we've actually found evidence that there's been about 7 decades of human labor slowly being eroded by automation. Now, AI and robots, humanoid robots, are just the latest iteration, but industrial automation is nothing new. And so when you look at the data, you actually see that labor force participation rate in primate men.
I'm all wet now.
And has been declining since about 1953. You see, there's plenty of other little clues, but wages have also been eroded over that period of time. So we actually have plenty of evidence that automation has been eating into the wage labor negotiation or social contract for a long time. And so AI and robots and everything else that's coming down the pipeline is nothing new. It's just the next iteration that's going to eat into it even further. Right. So whether or not it's going to be next year or 10 years from now, like, it's a very long-term trend. Yeah. So what do you think that Star Trek gets right about post-labor economics? Like, what does it get right and what does it get wrong? I from an economic standpoint, it gets most of it wrong. The thing that it gets right, I think, is the lifestyle, honestly. Whenever you see people whenever they have an episode where they go back to Earth and everyone's like, being an artist or hanging out at a bar, shooting pool, or following a career that's based on something that they care about. I think that's probably the most realistic thing. But I mean, Star Trek economics does not stand up to any scrutiny for longer than about 30 seconds, because it's like, how does Picard own a chateau in a propertyless future? Like, is it just inherited titles or something like that? So it just falls apart with the least bit of scrutiny. But I think the lifestyle is what it really gets right. Paint us a picture. Like, let's start from the highest level, the post-labor economics kind of vision that you've been sharing. Like, what should we be thinking about right now?
interesting is if and when it's going to happen. And so kind of the model come up with is better, faster, cheaper, safer. And so historically, whenever a technology or new way of doing things surpasses the old way of doing things on those four metrics, it usually becomes inevitable. For instance, switching over from horses to tractors and now tractors to combines. And beyond combines, we're having fully automated, AI-powered equipment now. In each of those cases, there's usually a few ways to look at time. There's energy input. This thing is more energetic. Now, not always consumes a lot more energy from the diesel fuel than a horse does. You get a horse grass, right? But they have better output. But you look in the longer term, there's far fewer farmers, right? So human labor is a huge component, so that's all going away as well. So that's the part one. Better, faster, cheaper, safer. Machines replace humans. We've seen this time and again. Out to the maximum conclusion, where who has jobs, right? Or